All right. So obviously we are here to talk about creating authentic social selling conversations with LinkedIn. This is such an important topic. And Bill and I talk about this all the time and align so much with Mark in the fact that, a lot of social selling is done wrong. A lot of and it's not even social selling, it's social spamming. And so we came together and said, we really want to put something together that's creating authentic social selling conversations. And so we are thrilled really to bring this to you today. We've come together, we've put this together, we've put together even a bigger program. So stay tuned at the end to share. We'll share some of the endeavors where we've been spending our weekends in putting together, but we're really excited to share this. We are going to talk about the Mark, results. If we go to the next Bill, you want to talk a little bit about the results from today? Do you want me to kind of just talk till we get to the introduction
for
slide?
today, we're going to help
Why don't you go
create a
into
value-centric
so what to
profile
expect today?
converts,
We're going to talk about building a
people in,
profile that
leads
attracts your buyers.
not with
What
your
does that
solution,
mean,
but to your solution.
Profile is
how to engage with content
the
most
right
way.
There's
plenty of wrong ways out there. We're going to ignore those. We're going to teach you the right way to do it.
Already
and
all
talk
roads
about
lead back
more
to your
leads
LinkedIn profile
on a consistent basis.
That's
really what we're looking for,
we've
right?
got to make sure that we've got that value-centric
and as somebody said in the chats, there's way too much spam message. We're not talking spam. We're talking about slowing down your outreach, the connections you've been ignoring, your outcome,
and how to get more referrals. So the next on our next slide is what we're hearing from salespeople today. And so you guys tell us in comments if this is what you're feeling, right? Are you feeling, I have thousands of connections, but no conversations? If that's true, we should have numbers here, but we'll do number one. Put number one, if you have thousands of connections, but no conversations. Put that in chat, wherever you are watching. If there is a chat, if you're on LinkedIn, there should be. The next one is, when I ask for conversations from prospects, I get ghosted. Often that's because we're asking too early. But if that is what you are, if you're feeling that, right, that when I'm asking for conversations, so I connect with someone, I think, Sam is a number one. So he is, he's got thousands of connections, no conversations. That's the biggest thing we're hearing for sure, right? Number two, we have, right? So I ask for conversations. Chances are, and one of the things that we're going to talk about this is, when is the right time to ask, for sure, right? So I share content, yet no one engages. That's number three. If that's number three for you, and we're just having you imagine the numbers, right? So number three, I share content, but no one's engaging. So, and Mark, if you could take in and out some of these pictures, because it totally thank you. That's awesome. That's awesome. We'll keep going through those quickly, but leave them off because I can't see. No, it's awesome.
You got it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. So everyone says I need to use LinkedIn, but I can't figure out how to do it successfully. Yeah. And, that's what, that's who we're talking to today. The sales folks that just know that LinkedIn, there's a lot of value there. We've got a lot of number fours too. Threes, all of it's a big span. So let's go to the next slide. Oh, yep. So what's broken, right? Obviously, if we're feeling all of this, something's broken. So profiles are self-centered versus value-centric. So Bill, talk about why that's broken.
Well, so nobody cares about you. Sorry. I'm sorry. That was probably a little too blunt. I'm from New York, but
we're on with Mark Hunter. Blunt is good.
Really?
Hey, I'm from Jersey. Okay, I can be blunt. Okay.
So we're all Northeasterners. So people don't care about your pedigree. They don't care about how many years you've been in your industry or all the amazing things, the awards that you've won. They care about themselves. Everyone's selfish. So creating a profile that's value centric, that's about your prospects and about your clients, will help to attract more people. And then there's the dreaded connect and pitch, or the connect and forget. If you're connecting and pitching, stop it right now. It doesn't work. Sure, maybe if you're selling a commodity or you're in transactional sales, maybe you send and you get one message through to someone just when Mark's ready to buy that widget. You send that message and he buys. That's 1 in a million. And then there's connect and forget. We connect with people and we completely forget that we connected with them.
We never start conversations.
Right. Exactly.
We collect business cards. Yeah.
And imagine you go into a networking room and you introduce yourself. I introduce myself to Mark, and as he starts to talk, I turn around and I walk away. And that's what connecting and forgetting does. And then there's random access social, Bryn. What's that?
This is your favorite. I'm surprised you passed that to me.
I'm generous.
So random access, I show up. Sometimes I engage. Sometimes I connect. Sometimes I actually take a moment and like and comment on something. Sometimes I connect, I accept some connection requests, but there's no rhyme or reason. There's no pattern. It's random. And just like anything we do in sales, if we're not consistent and we don't have a process, we're going to fail, just the way that it is. So post and ghost, this is a fun one, right? Like I post, now people actually start to engage a little bit. Maybe you get 6 likes and 1 comment, but you don't do anything with it. If you don't engage with the 1 comment or the 6 likes, guess what? They're not going to comment or like on the next one. Mm-hmm. So there's momentum we have to have, and this is a two-way thing. If you engage every single comment, Mark engages back. Sometimes he even goes deeper with a question. Like the way that, watch what Mark is doing on social and literally comment and watch how quickly he'll respond to that, because he understands the power of building a network that knows, likes, and trusts him, that he's not above everyone, right? If you post something and then you don't come back and engage, people don't get that connection to you, right? They connect through a two-way conversation. And if we ultimately want to take conversations off of LinkedIn, we have to start conversations on LinkedIn. Really
Hey,
important.
You know what? We should jump in right now because we got a number of people still in the StreamYard feed. And if you're having problems, jump over to my LinkedIn profile. Hey, what better way to engage? Go out to LinkedIn, go to my profile, Mark Hunter, and you'll see that we're streaming this live right now on LinkedIn. So, hey.
Yeah.
That's a way we post and engage, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. And then if you put comments there, we'll see them and we'll be able to talk to you and engage with you, which is even more fun. So we love that. Another thing that's broken, really, really, really broken, is we share topics that we want to talk about, not what our prospects want to consume. That's a big problem, right? Mm-hmm. Why? We're out there putting out content. So I have a banker friend, client, who, just started working with us and got all gun-ho before he went through all the training and started putting lots of content out there. And he's like, I'm getting engagement. And I said, yes. He goes, but they're from all other bankers. Right. Well, why? Because he's putting out content that he likes. So people like him will like it. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk a little bit about this, but we have to identify what is it that our prospects want to consume. It's so important, right? So that's so important. Talk about cold calling on LinkedIn, Bill. This is really a problem.
It's like an oxymoron, and it is a problem. This is the connecting pictures. These are people that are just reaching out. Some are using automation, and they're just, if I throw up enough mud against the wall, some of it's bound to stick. And here's the thing with LinkedIn. It's the perfect place for you that you should never have to make a cold connection, because people give you information. There's information on their profile. You can look for, and it goes to the next point. You can look for mutual connections and ask for an introduction. So there's no reason to cold call on LinkedIn. And if you are, you're actually probably hurting yourself. If you cold call me, I see your phone number, I hang up on you. If you cold email me, I see the email, I delete it. I may read it, I may not. You do cold outreach on LinkedIn. I see your picture, I see your name, I see your company name. It's much more personal. So don't shoot yourself in the foot, but use LinkedIn to your advantage to warm things up, to have a conversation. And one of the best ways to do it is leveraging referrals and permission and name drop. And people just aren't doing that. And Bryn, is this where you tell the Rolodex story?
No, not yet. We're going to hold off on that. We'll let them wait for that. But if you, I'm forgetting her last name, which is so frustrating to me. But Jill, not Conrath, who is fit, and when I come to it, look her up on Sales for Life. She's she used to say, "Know me before you show me." And I love that. Know me before you show me. And so that's exactly what we're saying. So Mark, were you going to add to that?
Well, yeah, we got to do a shout out to some people. Hey, I'm going to do a big shout out to Greg Fagan. Greg, Jersey City. I love it. I was from Randolph. Okay. So I was a little further west of you. Okay. But hey, yeah, sales is like baseball. It is. We're getting a lot of comments here. Keep the comments coming. We got, hey, hey, Virginia, we got to answer this one. How do you recommend that we engage with a like? Bryn, how do you do that? Because I'll tell you what, I struggle with that myself.
Oh, I love this, right? So let's say you put out a piece of content around number one sales tip, how to warm up a call before you make the call, how to gather information. So now we've got, and Mark, you put it out there and you have 35 likes and 25 comments, and the comments are easy to engage with. But how do we engage with the people that like? Well, they liked that information. I would say be prepared with a second piece, the second resource that supports that content. So maybe you put out one tip from an ebook that you have that has 25 tips. So now I reach out and say, Virginia, I'm so glad you enjoyed the tip that I just put out on LinkedIn. I'd love to connect with you. And if you're interested, I have an ebook on this topic that I'd love to share with you. Let's connect. So if you're already a connection, you just send a message. Virginia, thank you so much for liking my post. I have an ebook with 7 additional tips. If you're interested in that, let me know. I'm happy to send you a link, right? So it's always the next step. Or you put out a poll. Thanks for engaging on this. I'd love your one-click vote on that, right? And tie them together. And when you can do that, you're engaging around what matters to them.
Wow, that's great. Hey, we got another one. I love David's. I try to keep your company brand. I presume that's the person you're trying to reach out. Services and myself in front of my contacts. That's why we engage on LinkedIn. That's why we're active. We're active on LinkedIn. Hey, here's a comment. Bryn, jump in on this because you and Bill have a great birthday technique. That is so cool.
We
do.
You
want to let people in on your secret?
Yes, of course. There are no secrets with Social Sales Link. We put everything out. That's the authenticity that we bring to the table. So on my birthday, it's now been a couple of years, but on my 50th birthday, I put together a big list of my top 50 LinkedIn tips. And when they wished me a happy birthday, I said, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. On my birthday, I like to give gifts to my connections, and I get so much, so many conversations coming out of it. We get, new opportunities, referrals, like it's amazing. And so every year we give a gift, and it's usually something that can help them grow their business because that's where we are. But here's the thing about the gift. It needs to be a standalone. It's not a pitch. It's a gift. So 100% of what you give them needs to be actionable without having to work with you.
Right.
Yeah.
That is so valuable. And hey, that last answer you gave, Virginia says, great insight. Thanks so much. Of course.
Awesome.
That's what Bryn and Bill are here for. Yeah.
And Mark. Okay, Mark, let's go to the next.
Well, the next one is it's time. And Virginia, you set this up perfectly because your hosts here today, myself, Mark Hunter, and Bryn Tillman and Bill McCormick, we're all into social engagement. How do we do more using LinkedIn? And I have turned to Bryn and Bill so many times over the past number of years. I've learned from them. Maybe they learn a few ideas from me. That's why we're here doing this event right now for you. And you know what? We want you to stay tuned because we got a special thing for you at the end. And hey, if you're still having problems connecting, follow me on LinkedIn. Jump out to LinkedIn because we're streaming this live right now out on LinkedIn, and we have a ton of people watching us. It's absolutely terrific. So, hey, keep the comments coming, but let's get on with the show.
Awesome. So salespeople must, I'm just going to go through this quickly, but you must position yourself to attract your ideal buyers on a consistent basis, right? You've got to be attractive. You have to attract people in. And even if there's the inbound and the outbound, right? And it's this push and pull when it comes to social selling. But even when you are going outbound, you're still attracting them in, right? It's still, once you reach out, you have to be attractive enough for them to respond. Share content that gets engagement from your targeted prospects on a consistent basis. So important that you are sharing content consistently. It doesn't always have to be original content. In fact, curating content, we'll talk about this in a little bit. There's lots of different things to do. You need to convert your lurkers into engagers. So you may have, if you look at your content and it says you have 673 views, but 4 comments and 3 likes, you're not converting enough. You have lurkers, people that are viewing it, but they have not been compelled to take action. And we cannot start conversations and lead to opportunities with people that we don't know about. It's impossible to engage with the lurkers. LinkedIn does not say who those 673 viewers are. Right? So the more people we can get to like and comment, the more conversations we can start. We need to nurture our existing connections on a consistent basis, and we've got to leverage our clients and our centers of influence for referrals.
And you know what? We're hitting home. Look at this comment here from Justin. I've really been neglecting my social media aspect. Really appreciate this. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're here trying to share with you some ideas and some strategies to make it happen.
So talk about this a little bit, Bill.
So if you talk to many social sales LinkedIn trainers, you'll get many different definitions of what social selling is. This is ours. We think it's the most accurate, and we're pretty humble. So social selling is building trust, sharing insights, bringing value, being a resource, and developing relationships, all in understanding that the sales will come when the time is right. So it's an all-encompassing, holistic approach. And we don't settle on just one way of doing it. We talk a lot about the long game, the short game, and the medium range game. And you're going to hear some of that in here. But really what it comes down to is, Bob Berg in his book, Endless Referrals, says that, all things being equal, people do business with and refer business to people who they know, like, and trust. And in this new hybrid environment that we're in, how do people get to know, like, and trust us when we're not able to go to events, when we're not able to go and meet with people? Well, they do it. We're able to do that by attracting, teaching, and engaging them. Mm-hmm. And that's really at what the heart that is social selling. And where we start with that, and Bryn stole my line before, but that's okay, because I probably stole it from her originally. All roads lead back to your profile. The profile is the foundation of everything that we teach, because that's really where we begin to attract, teach, and engage them. That's really where we begin to build trust, share insights, bring that value, and start developing those relationships. So let's talk about the profile quickly.
Value-centric profile. And this is really important. Your profile, you need to convert your profile from a resume to a resource. I have been talking about this, I think, since 2008. Like, seriously, this is one of the most important things that we can do in positioning ourselves as the subject matter expert. If we brag, which as salespeople we tend to do on our resume, right? We hit President's Club 3 years in a row. We're 127% of quota. All of those things are great when you're looking for business. But if your resume is screaming, best negotiator, your buyers are going to run. They're like, I don't want to work with the best negotiator. I want to work with the worst negotiator, right? That's your buyers thinking. What this needs to do is ultimately be a resource for your buyers so that they test drive you, that they see the value you bring. So what gets you to know, like, and trust on LinkedIn? It's to attract, teach, and engage. Mm-hmm. So next, this is, I just jumped ahead, but from a resume to a resource, you could go ahead. No, go ahead. So 74% of buyers choose the sales rep that was first to add value insights, corporate vision study. 3/4, guys, it's not your price.
Right.
Let me say that again. It's not your price. It's the value you bring to the table. And corporate visions proves 3/4 of them are choosing the one that adds value and insights. So guess what? Let's start adding value and insights on LinkedIn. Because if that's what they're going to choose their vendor based on, don't you want to be the one that's doing that early on?
I want to take that 10-second clip where you said it wasn't price and replay that over and over and over and over and over again. How's that sound?
You got it.
Here's the introspective moment for all of you that are in sales. Write this on the little notepad, write it in front of your face, put it on your mirror. How am I as a sales rep providing value and insight for my prospects? Because that's the question. And if we can answer that question and we can do that consistently, what Corporate Vision's stat tells us is we're going to be the go-to. We start developing credibility. And when we're credible, people turn to us. It's not about price. It's like, I've got this problem. I need this outcome. And I know that if I go to Bryn, I'm going to get it. Listen, when I was looking for somebody to help me with a problem on LinkedIn, I went to Bryn, and that's how we ended up working together, because I knew she was the go-to most credible person I knew.
Yay. I love that story.
And you know what? That's echoed home right here by this comment from Justin. He'd rather be seen as an advisor to somebody on LinkedIn. And I agree with you. I agree with you, Justin. This is what really moving to become a resource is all about. So spot on. Hey, Greg. Yeah.
Well, I'll just say about that is that's moving from building relationships. You have to start somewhere. So you start with the relationship. That's kind of the buddy thing. But when you move to credibility, so a buddy will go golfing with you, but it takes the credibility that, when they have a problem at 2:00 in the morning, you're the go-to, that you're going to be the one. So great.
Yeah. Hey, I love this question from Greg. Somebody who's viewed your profile, they match up with who you are. I send them a connection. I give them a reason to connect with me because there's something of value between the two of us. I don't know if you guys agree with that.
So, you've got to have a context around that, right? So I typically do not make my first engagement a connection request. I may follow them. I may go to their content and engage on their content. And then at one point, if I see enough value on both sides, I may then send out a connection request that says, I really enjoy the content you've been sharing. Let's connect. I'd love to see more of that. Then my first engagement might be very clearly you love content around sales and sales training. I don't know if you've seen Mark Hunter and Meredith's Saturday morning live podcast, but if you haven't, I'd love to send you a link. I think you'll get great value from it. Not about me. I'm still like, so here's the way to look at this. These are human beings. Pretend they're in the room with you. I know it's a message, but treat the person on the other side of the message the same way you would if they were on the other side of the table. You would not walk up to someone and say, hey, Bill, we help companies just like you. That's not how we start conversations. Were you going to say something?
I was just going to say, let's take this one step further. What did they see when they looked at your profile? Right. Was it value centric or was it all about you? So that could be the start of it. And someone in the comments said, do you like sending a note when sending a connection request? Every single time. You have to.
I don't care what anyone else tells you.
Right.
We're right on this.
You have to give context to why you want to connect, and selling to them is not a context. So you need to engage with them. You need to look for that.
And that's what Alice says so well. It's about value. What's the reason for us to connect? What's the reason? Why should I want to connect with you?
Exactly.
Have I created value?
I want to just double down on the connection request message, because I would say 80% of our competitors will argue with us and say I'm wrong. And I am I'm very flexible and open to new ideas. I am sticking my heels in the sand on this, in the whatever. I'm so insistent on this. A note every single time. 3 reasons. Number 1, if you don't put in a note, it's like walking up to someone, shaking their hand and not saying, hi, my name is Bryn Tillman. It's weird. It's awkward. Why are you coming up to me? Number 2, it shows up in the message tab. So when they accept your connection, you are now in messages and they are in yours. It's a prompt to continue the conversation, which, by the way, is our goal. If we're in sales, we want more conversations.
Right.
So we need to do it. Number 3, in 3 years from now, when they reach out to you and they act, it's so good to talk to you again. And you're like, how do I know this person? Your note will remind you. And so they go, oh, you were on my webinar. Now I know the context. So every single time I made my boys, when they connected with me, my children that I won't forget how I know, I made them when they connected with me, when they set up their LinkedIn profile, to send me a message, because I want them to be at 100%.
Yeah. I sent one to my daughter and I said, hey, Kiri, I see we have some things in common, like shared DNA. Would you add me to your network here?
And she rejected your...
Right? Actually, she did, but that's a whole nother story.
Okay, now we're going into therapy.
Yeah. Actually, they're very close. So let's keep going. We'll keep moving through. So top of the fold, move from boring to compelling. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but you want to make sure, CEO of Social Sales Link, who cares? Really? But I am transforming the way professionals sell by converting connections to conversations. LinkedIn and Sales Navigator training. It's a little more interesting. I'm not going to go deep into this, but it's got to be compelling enough where they go, ooh, I want to keep reading. Let's go to the next slide.
Yeah. So the next is about the about section. And, this is many times where people will talk all about their solution and all about them and how they've won the President's Club Award. And we need to stop that. Remember, it's not about you. What we want to do is write this from your prospect's needs standpoint. What we want to do is write this like a mini blog and provide so much value that if they never even do business with you, they come away learning something. Basically 6 points. So you can put a call to read at the top, which Bryn has there, and it's really small writing, so I have to look closer. Learn
top LinkedIn and social selling strategy.
So that kind of is a call to read. And then the other 5 things is we want to start with the challenges that your clients face. You know what they are. You deal with them all the time. If you do this, this will resonate with them. It'll get them to read more. You want to share 3 to 5 vendor agnostic insights. In other words, not according to your company, but you can pull stats from governmental authorities or nonprofit or associations. What can you teach them about the solutions you provide that if they read that, they go away going, wow, I never knew that.
Yeah. Can I just add to that? It's really about getting them to think differently about their current situation. Right. That's the goal, for them to go, right. Yeah.
Right. So challenges, then value, providing value. Then the third thing is pivoting to how you help, but this is not a pitch. So if you have a value prop, this is a great place for that to live, to share the value that you provide. And then the last 2 points is you close it out with a call to action. Salespeople, that's not a call to sell. It's a call to action. And the next action is just inviting them to a conversation, and then providing a way for them to contact you. Anytime you're asking someone to contact you, give them a way to do it. The last thing you want them to have to do is go hunt around LinkedIn to find out where your email is or what phone number they should call. Give it to them right there in your about section.
Love that. We got a great question here from Greg. What's the best way to identify your ideal prospect on LinkedIn? I've got some strategies, but I bet you guys
start. Mark, you go.
Well, here's what I say is, first of all, you got to know who is your ideal customer profile. And of course, naturally, those are the people, but who are the influencers you want to be connecting to? What is, again, the value and the interest of why I want to connect with them, why I want to engage? And go back to what Bryn made the comment. There are people who I've connected with on LinkedIn. I didn't know, but I began following them, began engaging with them, began conversing with them just through their streams, through their posts. Then ultimately, we went to a first level connection. And that's the way I have maximized my number of connections.
Yeah, makes sense.
And actually, we'll get into a little bit more of that in a couple of slides when we talk about social listening.
Yeah, let's just skip through the next couple for time, and let's scroll down a little bit, Mark, to let's get to social listening. We're the guy that's listening. So, let's talk.
There it is, social listening. Here we are.
Awesome. So, Bill, talk a little bit about social listening.
Yeah. So social listening, and on LinkedIn, you listen with your eyes, unless it's a video, and then you hear it. But what you want to do is what are your prospects consuming? So what are the outcomes they're looking for, and what content are they consuming that's answering those questions? What are the initiatives that they're working on? What are industry trends, and who are their clients? and what is the most compelling thing to them. One of the things we talk about is finding magnets. So very similar to what Mark talked about with influencers, magnets are people who are attracting the same clients as you. So we work in the sales training space, but we have a niche in social selling and LinkedIn training.
Mark is our magnet.
Mark is our magnet. Bryn took the words right out of my mouth. But Mark is our magnet. So we look and we amplify his content. We look at who's engaging on his content. And that gives me an idea of who my client is on LinkedIn.
And see, I look at Bryn's content and Bill's content, and I amplify it to my people because I know they would value from their content.
Great.
This morning, you and both of you were doing a LinkedIn live session. I had ability to jump in there for a few minutes, and then I shared it with some other people. Again, it's helping create the community of like-minded people.
Absolutely. So let's see what's next.
I think we're going to get to content.
So different content for different audiences. This is something that's really important. I think at a high level, there are three there's lots of content. There's, videos and blog posts and ebooks, but there's content for one-to-many. This is what we put on our newsfeed. Lots and lots of people are going to like it. We're not targeting. We may think we're targeting people, but you never know who's it's landing in. Mm-hmm. Then there's one to few. And this is where we have a templated message. And maybe we look up all of our CROs and we have one message that we're going to send to each of them. It's in the inbox, but there's nothing really personal about it. And then there's one-to-one. And this is when we tailor our messages. And this is, Bill said earlier, slow down your outreach to speed up your outcome. Take the time, get personal. If you are selling into someone and you want to build rapport with them, take the time. You did your social listening, find out what matters to them. Look at the kinds of content that they're sharing and mention that. Look at, who are their influencers. You can see who they're following. So they follow Bill Gates, find an article or a podcast Bill Gates was on, right? Really make that one-to-one. It's the one we need to do one-to-many and one-to-few, but it's the one-to-one that converts.
And we got a great question here. LinkedIn user, how many times would you post content on LinkedIn per week? For example, do you feel like if you post more than once a day, you're cannibalizing?
Wonderful. So there's an algorithm answer to that, but go ahead. No, Mark, you first.
I mean, I post up to a couple times a day because if I'm seeing something really cool, I'm posting it. If I read something somebody else posted, I share. But here's the whole key thing. I'm engaging. If you respond to something I post, I do not post and ghost. I respond to every single comment people put out there on LinkedIn because I'm trying to create a community.
I love that. There is an algorithm. Bill, just share a little bit on that.
Yeah, and
we're not all Mark Hunter, by the way. So Mark can do things.
Say that or Bryn Tillman. So they have 5-figure followings, and so
Mark has 6.
6-figure followings. So the algorithm works differently from them. They're special, all right. But for us mere mortals, if we post twice a day, we should at least leave 6 hours between the two postings. Because what happens is you put the first post out. LinkedIn starts to throw that through the algorithm. As soon as you put that second post out, the first post goes away. LinkedIn doesn't see it anymore. They don't promote it anymore. So really what's more important is to post consistently. And I just want to say this about the one-to-one communication. Make sure you're being authentic. Don't pay people platitudes. I just received a connection request this morning from someone in the UK who said they were really impressive with my work from Team Creative Connections LLC. Right, that's my wife's company. I'm the vice president, but I'm not involved in it anymore. I don't even know where she pulled it. Well, she used some kind of automation that grabbed that information. So I sent back a message that says, "What exactly impressed you with that?" Here's the thing: she never even looked at my profile, so she's not being authentic. When you're doing one-to-one communication, make sure you're being authentic and you're being genuine, because that inauthenticity and disingenuous behavior, that's what's ruining LinkedIn.
I got a message now. I got a message today that initially seemed a little interesting because it said, "I'm very impressed with the work you're doing at Penn Mutual," which is one of our largest clients. So I said, "Wow, So I sent back a message. How do you know what we're doing with Penn Mutual? And then there was a response that said, wanted to let you know that we help companies with their SEO and da 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 da. And I went, you had an ability to start a conversation with me. So I don't know where they got, maybe from my recommendations with Penn Mutual or maybe our website, but don't do that. Okay, next one, Mark. This is my favorite, but do you want to talk about it or should I?
No. You go ahead.
Bryn, you own this. This is so spot on. Everybody watching this, take note of this one. This is so key.
Yeah. So here's the problem. We go out and we lead with our solution, meaning we help people do this. Here's what we do. Here are features. Here are nobody, unless they are actively looking for your solution right this very moment, they don't care about this. So we need to lead to our solution. We need to, and this is the value, dropping breadcrumbs, right? Ultimately, leading them to. So more value, more value, more value. We had, and Bill can tell the story because they reached out over our website, but a pretty big prospective client, if you're listening, I'm sorry that we're calling you a prospect because you're really a human being to us, but a big prospective client reached out, scheduled time with Bill, and Bill, the good salesperson he is, said, so how did you find us? And she said, oh, I've been following Bryn's content for 2 years. Right. That led to our solution. I wasn't pitching for 2 years. I was providing value for 2 years. So lead to your solution, not with your solution. Next one. So I'm going to quickly go through these three, or if you want to go through these.
No. Go.
So create. I'm going to go click three really fast. Create content. Don't tell me that you're not a content creator. If you are in sales and you're having conversations, you are creating content in your conversations. Capture your genius. Do it on Zoom. Transcribe it. Use Canva to put your quotes in, and use polls. And I love polls to ask for other people's point of view. The next one is curate. Maybe curate. Find great content. Find those influencers, those magnets that are sharing content. Find the publications, online publications, Forbes, HubSpot, wherever. Find great content and curate it. But remember, not content you care about, content your prospects care about, or the intersection of, right? It obviously has to somehow lead back to you and your solution and your thought leadership, but really important. Okay, next one.
And we are getting so many comments coming in. We don't, in the essence of time, have the ability to put them all up there. But man, love the chat feed across all of the channels, whether it be YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook. It's absolutely fantastic.
I just got one. What's the best time for better engagement? And really, now where we are in the world, like, there is really no great time. The first hour when you post something, you should be on those comments regularly. That will help it go further. But engaging is so critical to make meaningful comments. Don't just, as our friend Mark Hunter says, you can't take thumbs up and likes to the bank, right? But you can develop relationships with comments. Mm-hmm. So,
thumbs up.
And thumbs up, that's good, but really meaningful comments. Yeah. Give your point of view when you're engaged.
Yeah.
Hey, that's great what you said, Mark. What I think is, use hashtags. I'll let Bryn talk a little bit more.
Yeah, no, we'll skip that for today.
Okay.
We'll keep going.
But engage with both the author and the commenters, because that, again, we're talking about building credibility, being a thought leader, and having more opportunities to create conversations. And we do that, the more people we engage and we talk with.
So what's broken? Number one broken piece, connect and pitch. We help people just like you. Treat this person, I know it like, as you would an in-person connection. You've got to make it more personal, right? We make it all about us. It's not about them. That's what's broken. So I know we're sort of overlapping. Our conversations went in so many directions, but the next one is be a resource, right? This is sort of recapping, I think. Earn the right to get the call. Engage with content that matters to them. Slow down the outreach to speed up the outcome. Next is
mastering the ask offer ratio. So anytime we're asking people for something, even reading our profile, reading a piece of content, we're asking for time, which is one of, if not the most precious commodity that people have. We should be giving them something in return. They should be getting a, hopefully today you're going to get massive value from this for the time you're giving to us, right? But typically there's 3 responses to the ask offer ratio. The first is a bait and switch, you know, and you attend a webinar, 30-minute webinar on email prospecting, and they promise to show you the 3 tips to write better lines to get your email open. You're like, yes, I need that. And so you attend it. And for 25 minutes, they pitch you their email writing software. That's normally $9,995. But for you today, for a limited time, it's just $99. And then in the last 5 minutes, faster than I'm even talking, they give you in staccato fashion those 3 tips. Ba, 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 ba. And then it's done. And you're like, yuck, I feel dirty. Like I can't get those 30 minutes back.
This is happening on content, even like I think it's going to be value, but it's a pitch when I click through to what I think is a blog post.
Yeah. So the first response of mastering the ask offer ratio is a bait and switch. The other is mutual. It's just, nah, I read it. It's like, okay, I'm no better. I'm no worse. But really the third response is what we want is we want it to be compelling. We want to compel them to some kind of action. You know, hopefully that will lead to a conversation. That's really where we want it to end. So we have to create content that's compelling, and in the mastering the ask offer ratio. Sorry,
which takes us in. So now that we know what our content is, we know what we're going to do. We need to leverage social proximity. Who are we connected to? We're going to do a search. Who are we connected to? That's a first degree decision maker, or a second degree. So someone I know, maybe Mark knows, he's a second degree to a decision maker or to an influencer. Or if you've got Sales Navigator, who in your company can connect you. That's this pathways to targeted prospects. So the first thing we need to do is on the next slide, which is take inventory of our first degree connections. So we have to conduct CPR. Yes, this is bringing them back to life, but it's identifying all of our customers, our prospects, and our referral partners. We can do this by exporting or by searching, but ultimately we want to get to this spot, right? So we identify our first degree connections, our prospects. We can talk about lots of ways to start conversations with content, but our clients and our referral partners, we want to start to leverage, or our COI, centers of influence, we want to start to leverage their Rolodex. And that's the magic of LinkedIn. Well, let's just finish that last. Well, the magic of LinkedIn is that I can filter and search my connections, my clients, my centers of influence, and get a list of the people they know and have a conversation with them about who they know and potentially making some introductions. So now we'll go to recap. Building the profile that attracts your buyers. We did that. Leverage your content that converts, re-engage your connections, and leverage your connections for referrals. And I know we sped through that referral piece, but let's, so if you got value from this, now what, right? One of 3 things is going to happen. You're like, great training. You're going to leave and you're going to do nothing. And that'll be a lot of you. And that's okay. I hope you had fun. Some of you are like, you know what? I got this. This is a lot of information, but I'm good. And I'm ready to go tackle this on my own. And that's great too. But if you're in the majority, that's like, you know, this was really good. And it's definitely getting me excited about LinkedIn, but I think I want to know a little more. Stick around because we're going to share this amazing program that Mark, Bill, and I put together. So the Sales Hunter and Social Sales Link came together to provide you with a powerful e-learning program. You like our little mugs, Mark?
I love our mugs. In fact, because you know I love coffee, and I know you guys do too. So you know what? It's perfect, right? What can I say?
It was fun. Yeah. So we've come together. So what do you get? You get Mark, me, and Bill. 6 courses that we've put together with a 34-page slide workbook. So you get our slides, which have templates in it and other things. You're going to get the value-centric profile checklist, a LinkedIn planning worksheet, and a daily, weekly cadence ebook. All for the low price of $297. So if you go to socialsaleslink.com/in, it actually goes back to Mark, but it'll get you there. So socialsaleslink.com/in, you can get here. If you go to the next slide, we'll show you what you're going to get. So you are going to get the social selling mindset. This is where you'll unlearn what every other social seller has probably told you. Not every other, but many others. The things that you're hearing out there, the bots that have been ingrained in us, all of that, we are going to reprogram that with having the right mindset about our social selling ethos, our philosophy. We're going to walk you through how to design that value-centric profile. You're going to take a little ride with us around leveraging content on LinkedIn. So we go obviously much deeper. We're going to take you through how to nurture those connections and ultimately get warm market prospecting. And then we take you through social selling cadence and ultimately, right? So it's mastering LinkedIn for business development. The investment is $297. How can you not do that? This is the first time we're doing this together. And so we're giving it a shot. I don't even know how to value this. You get Mark Hunter sharing his brilliance along with our core, philosophy around how to leverage LinkedIn for business development. And boy, was this fun to do with you.
And I'll tell you what it was, because we spent the better part of a Saturday working on this, just getting the content together, and then multiple weeks kind of building it out. Yeah, I'm kind of excited to offer it. But the whole idea of this webinar was to give you content, was to give you things that you can run with. And then hopefully many of you will go and take advantage of this. And that's great. That's great. Bryn and Bill, if you don't follow them currently on LinkedIn, you need to follow them. You need to follow them. And I trust many of you probably already follow me, but our whole objective is to help you do what you need to do more efficiently, more effectively. Because you know what? Sales it's about helping people. That's what we love doing, right?
Yeah. Do we have time? I don't know what your schedule looks like, because I know we're at the top of the hour, but do we have time to bring in some of these questions?
Sure. We've got a number. We got a number of questions. Here's one. I'm going to have to check into the social selling content, really into audiobooks. So I hope you have some of those too. Yeah, you can listen.
We have a podcast.
Yeah. Yes, we have podcasts, and but you can get the course, and yes, it's video, but it's audio there too. So it's all there. There's a tremendous amount. We got private chat. This is really cool. Hey, here's something I'm going to challenge people to do. Ask yourself this question. What is social media, and LinkedIn in particular, doing for you and your business that you can say is making you money? And that's a very candid question, because again, you can't take clicks and likes to the bank.
That's the line.
Ask, how is it helping you monetize your business? And that's being blunt. That's being kind of coarse. But hey, I'm from Jersey. I can say that. Because if social media and LinkedIn is not making you money, why are you on LinkedIn? Yeah, I want to create relationships, but ultimately I got to eat. Just a little something for you to think about.
So what do we have in questions? I can see.
Justin says, awesome. Anne Marie says, thank you. Great one. In fact, hey, Anne Marie, you're on a lot of my programs. That's great. James Mack says, intriguing material. I'm just kind of scrolling back through. Like I said, it was kind of hard to catch everything as it was coming through. Quality versus quantity. Nobody's asking specific questions that we haven't really got to right now. Oh, wait, here's one. What if your prospects are typically not terribly active on LinkedIn?
Yeah, so that's interesting. So there are a lot of folks, if they're in finance or procurement, they're on LinkedIn because they needed to get a job in the last 15 years. And you had to be on LinkedIn in order to do that, right? So they're there. They probably accept a lot of connections. They may not be engaging, but that's the opportunity to find out if you have a shared connection. So maybe, Tad is not really that active on LinkedIn, but I noticed that he's connected to Mark Hunter. And Mark Hunter is a friend of mine. So I'm going to reach out to Mark and say, Mark, how do you know Tad? He's going to say, oh, he's my buddy. He's on all my lives. He's a great guy. I'm trying to get in front of him. This is why I'm wondering, do you have any insights? Would you potentially be open to making an introduction, or can I reach out and mention that we chatted and his name came up, right? But we're going to leverage that shared connection to make that connection. And so if they're on LinkedIn but they're not active, content's not going to do the trick.
And keep in mind this: they may have a profile, but they may only check it every week. So in other words, their time frame is different than your time frame. You're in sales. You're on LinkedIn all the time. Get that, understand that. But
so Bill has a client, so he's got to jump. Yes. But I'm going to stay on if that's okay and just chat.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks everyone. This was
great,
Mark.
Bill.
Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.
Absolutely terrific, Bill. Take care.
Awesome. So we can keep this going. Isn't he great? Isn't he great?
He is absolutely terrific. And what I like about it is he's authentic and he's transparent.
100%.
And again, this is one of the things that social media allows us to do. It allows us to really be authentic and transparent.
Or broken. So that's the thing, is you have to choose.
Yes.
And so many people want the easy button. And
they think if they just get a lot of people look at my profile and they say, Mark, you got hundreds of thousands of followers. Yeah, but you know what? It's not, that's totally irrelevant.
Well,
it's how am I dealing with them? How am I interacting with them? How am I helping?
Absolutely. That is very true.
That's what it comes down to. Here's a comment. Sure. There are many people who have a LinkedIn profile, but are mostly active in IG, in other forms. Yeah.
Instagram. Yep. So
Instagram. Totally understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that may be the case. So we're not saying that LinkedIn is the only way. We're just teaching this way. And there are definitely, so I had a previous question, is leading the prospect to a solution, something like starting with a common industry issue to start engagement? Excuse me. I love that question. Industry insights are great. So we teach, in the course, we teach you, how do you find those industry insights? How do you curate that content? Where are you going to find that? But another thing is, find out who your prospect is selling to and get some industry insights into them, because your prospects will be blown away if you've gone so deep to find out who they sell to, and they want to know what's going on in their customers' industry. So that's another one from curating.
I love taking industry content, posting it out on LinkedIn if it fits my ideal customer profile. And then what will happen is I'll get comments. And then you know what? Then I can email people. I can call people. Hey, I just posted this out on LinkedIn. If you had a chance to take a look at it, it's really getting some interesting content. But it's amazing how industry content can create those online conversations. That's what absolutely. I love doing. Hey, here's a great question. Hey, thank you for the content. Could you please share stats? I'm talking about message to call ratio.
Yeah.
Call to sales ratio. Jump in on that.
So I've got lots of stats, but I'm going to give you my favorite one, which is around client referrals. So in the course, we teach you, how do you mine your clients' connections and leverage those connections to have a conversation with your clients or your centers of influence about who they know, and then move that to either a referral, an introduction, or permission to name drop. So we review these names. We get a list, let's say, of 8 names that are great. Now, these are the stats. It's almost exactly the same. If you get an introduction or you drop their name, 50% of them will accept your connection request or more. So a minimum of 50%. And 50% of them will take your call. Those are the numbers. It just really is. So 8 becomes 4 becomes 2. So if we do, and here's the other thing, is that's the stat up front. But now we've got 4 new connections, right? And only 2 took our call. But remember the one woman that was following my content for 2 years? When the time is right, if we provide enough value and insights, when the time is right, they will raise their hand and say, let's talk.
Here's
go ahead.
Here's a simple stat that I like to use is I might be prospecting. I talk to somebody and a little bit of interest, it's a phone call. It's not going anywhere. But then I suddenly notice that they look at my LinkedIn profile. You know what? There's more interest there than you realize. And again, then I can
and 2 more people from their company that you didn't talk to because they brought them there.
Exactly. That's where you've hit a home run, when suddenly you see 4 or 5 people from the same company looking at your profile. Then you go, hey, this is really a hot prospect. And it all came because of a phone call that you maybe thought didn't go anywhere. But I'll tell you what,
2 months from now.
Exactly, because your reputation arrives before you do. This is one of the big reasons I like LinkedIn. Nobody does business with people without first checking them out on LinkedIn. That's why having a great profile is so key, because you got to have that strong profile.
And we really, in this course, we really walk you through how to do that. I mean, you follow our step-by-step in the course. You'll have that. So if they are not a good fit, would you still attempt to get referrals connections somehow? So I always work towards referrals, but so there are 5 things we want from every client. We want more business or retention. So retention or more business. We want internal introductions, external introductions, referrals, and vendor introductions. They become our centers of influence. But if you're talking with someone who's not a good fit, there's the first thing I think about is who can they use in my network? So if I'm not the right person, there are people that I make introductions to that I haven't talked to in years, but I know they're really good at what they do. And that's the right fit for this person. And so I'm always thinking like a networker. So if they're not a right fit for me, who are they a right fit for? And then potentially if we can bring enough value to them, we can ask for referrals. But, we teach you how in this course, how to do it the right way, because you don't want to overstep. A lot of we actually teach you how to shift to permission to name drop the right way, because it's really important that the initial relationship is held up, that first relationship is more important than any referral they can ever give you, because if you ruin it, there's not a referral anyway. And right. you have to really keep your reputation intact. So you just have to do it the right way.
Yeah. And help them first. I always want to help them first before I ask for a referral. Hey, you know what? We need to kind of wrap this up, because actually StreamYard is going to kick us off pretty soon. Has this been great? This has been absolutely fantastic.
Mark, you're so fun to hang out with.
Well, I tell you what, hey, for those of you who were with us at the beginning, we apologize for those little technical issues. I own up to it, all my mistakes. Just when we had far more response than we ever expected. That was a great problem to have, but it took us a little while to work through some of those hangups. So, hey, Bryn, thank you, Bryn Tillman. Follow her. Bill McCormick was the other gentleman who had to jump off for another call that he had to do. I'm Mark Hunter. Man,
this was fun.
We'll do
it again.
Yeah, we will. Hey,
awesome.
I'm going to go talk to some clients. I'm going to go talk to some prospects. I'm going to go connect with people, because that's what sales is all about. I bet you're going to do the same thing.
I think I just might.
Take care. Thanks so much,
guys,
everybody.
Thank you.